Playing 100 ranked ones games in 2 days is it's like the worst thing I've ever experienced. This video was by far the hardest Rocket League video I've ever had to make. So here's how the last few days went. My first 25 games or so, I won most of them, and I got all the way to Champ 1 Div 2. I mean, I got there pretty much in the first couple games, but I just kind of stayed there. Now that's the highest rank I've ever gotten in ones. Then for the next 15 games or so, I basically went even. I'd lose a few, I'd win a few, and I basically just stayed around the same rank. But then I started losing yesterday, and I mean bad. I lost probably 20 games in a row or so. And then I came back after eating, thinking, okay, I'm gonna be, refreshed now, I'll feel pretty good. And I lost another 5 or 6 games in a row. In this run, I fell all the way from Champ 1 Div 2, all the way down to Diamond 2 Div 4. And I'm thinking, how embarrassing is this? I'm gonna play 100 ones games, I'm gonna finish this video, and I'm gonna be Diamond 2, which I know would be a good rank for a lot of you guys, but I should be at Champ. Now on about game 70, I don't know, like 74, 75, something like that, I realized that I was lagging. Now I know this sounds like a dumb excuse, and it was a very minor bit of lag, but I saw it on the kickoffs, and even when I would just take off on my kickoff, that I was just a little behind. It was just that little bit of lag. And then I started seeing it on shots and flicks. It was like I was playing people who yesterday I would have clobbered, and they looked like complete gods to me because I couldn't defend anything. I couldn't win a challenge, I couldn't win a kickoff, and I couldn't save anything. Now I realized that I had been listening to music, and I actually hadn't been the day before, which apparently my internet with like 100 megabytes of download speed can't handle. I don't know. So I turned my music off, which sucked because I was so frustrated and so tilted, and I wanted to just listen to some like hip hop or something. But when I turned my music off, I started absolutely demolishing people. I felt completely different. Like my whole game felt different. And I went on, I think like a 12 game win streak. Then I lost one, and then I won like 3 more. And I ended up actually higher than I was. I ended up Champ 1 Div 3 by the end of the 100 games. Now, I have never been more frustrated in Rocket League in doing this, but I think a lot of it wasn't just ones. I think it was that I was lagging, and yeah, but when you get tilted in ones, it's really bad. But I learned a bunch of stuff, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you everything that I've learned from playing 100 ones matches, and yeah. Now, really quick, before I get into the video, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by GAMERLINK. GAMERLINK is basically an app for gamers who are looking to connect with other gamers, and it's an amazing place to find people to trade with, or just to queue up with for ranked. And it's set up so that you basically send out a beacon detailing what you're looking for, so that you end up with somebody who's also looking for the same thing. It's like you're a perfect match. And the best part is, it's completely free. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend downloading it. I've put a link in the description. It's the first thing in the description. So give her a try if you haven't downloaded it. And you also get a free FLuuMP badge if you want to. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, let's get right into this. Now, just a little warning. I'm not going to go over all of the really obvious stuff for ones. I really want to talk about the things that I didn't fully realize before trying this. So I'm not going to go over how to exactly win kickoffs, even though that's super important, or how to dribble really well or play shadow defense. I'll put links in the description to videos that will help you guys with all the mechanics and skills that you need for ones, or at least some of them. But for me, I want to look at the weird stuff, the mindset stuff, basically just the way that you approach ones, the things that really stood out to me that I did not really understand before doing this. So first, I learned that it's really important to be able to read your opponent and actually focus on your opponent. Now, I've talked about this before, and I already knew it to some extent, but after like 60 games, I became so comfortable with ones that I wasn't nervous, wasn't really, I don't know. I started to actually do this really well. Now, if you can read your opponent well, you can ultimately win challenges, beat them to the ball, and ultimately the most important part of ones is just picking your challenges correctly and winning them. So it's that simple. Now, this is way more important than being able to do perfect flicks or hit like just crazy shots. Most of ones is challenging, defending, and really making those hard decisions about which of those two you're going to choose. Are you going to challenge or are you going to not challenge? That's sort of the weird tension that you have when you play ones. And if you play somebody who's better than you, they're better than you and they're beating you probably because they're beating you to the ball, or they know that you're faking and they just hit it over your head. All right, the second thing I want to point out is that you have to be able to play with low boost. And this is probably the biggest thing for me that I learned because I am so terrible at this. But after 100 games, I think I get it for the most part. And I think this really, really helped my just overall play style, not just for ones, but for any playlist. I really learned to be fine with, say, like 15 boost or even 0 boost. There were times where I was down in my opponent's corner. They got both the boosts. They were completely loaded up. I had 0, and I just stayed there and like was a nuisance to them. Now, the thing is, if you have low boost, you have to stay close to the ball. You have to really be in the mix, always challenging, always there, and grabbing a couple boost pads and doing it again. You can't sit back with 0 boost and let them take a shot because you have there's nothing you can do in that situation. Now, this goes the other way as well. A lot of ones is just being able to read what your opponent is doing, and if they go for boost, sometimes you'll have 5 boost, and all you got to do is just like hit a shot at the goal and see what happens. A lot of times you'll score because it doesn't matter if they have 500 boost. There's nothing they can do if they leave the ball and go to grab boost and you hit just like a decent shot on goal. So this kind of gets at the next thing, which is you need to just put shots on net. Don't be afraid to just send it towards their net. Now, that means like, let's say you get the ball on your half and you have it on top of your car, just flick it down towards the goal, or, you know, hit just like a power shot. Get something moving towards the goal so that they have to use their boost, because a lot of times they'll make the save, but they'll put it right in front of the net. And this is something that Scrub does really well, and really all the high-level pro players do this, but he sort of originated it. He wears down his opponents by putting a lot of shots on net, and then he'll simultaneously, after he puts a shot, he'll go steal their boost. And so he just keeps control and just keeps putting shots on net. So I found this to be really helpful. Okay, here is a random tip that really helped me. And I don't always do this, but most of the time I think it's better. Don't run yourself out of boost on your kickoffs. A lot of times you'll actually win more kickoffs if you delay it just a second, or you can even delay it a lot and sort of hit the brakes right before you go hit the ball. This actually really works. KDOP is really the person who started this. But anyways, if you don't use all your boost, you've got say 10 or 15 boosts to either put a shot on net or go get the side boost or the corner boost. It's almost always better, and I think you actually do win more kickoffs if you just slow down a little bit and leave yourself that boost. Now, sometimes I did realize that this wasn't working, and so I would use all my boost because it would just work. Like I would win all the kickoffs against some players because of the way that they did their kickoffs. So don't be afraid to change things up with kickoffs. It's actually a really important part of it. And kickoffs, as we all know in ones, are huge. If you can win kickoffs, you can win ones. Like you can win pretty much every game if you can win kickoffs. All right, so this next one is kind of a mindset thing, but this is super important. And I realized this on about game 90 or so. In ones, you're going to give up more goals. It's okay. So don't worry about it. You don't have 1 or 2 other players behind you to defend the net, and it's just the way it goes. People are gonna flick it over your head, they're gonna hit shots. It's hard to defend the entire net by yourself. I started realizing this. The net is really big, and it's actually really hard to just defend by yourself. So for me, the best way to win in ones isn't to focus on not giving up goals. You can't play defensively, but you really have to just focus on scoring as much as possible. Like stay in the game, stay in the mix, stay with the ball, challenge a lot, put on a lot of pressure, and that's really the way to win. Obviously, you have to play defense when you're in that situation. I'm not saying when you're on defense to just rush in and do something stupid, but I guess just don't worry about it. Don't freak out if they score 2 goals or whatever. Like there were so many games where they scored like 3 kickoff goals to start, and there was just nothing I could do about it. But like I still ended up winning, because in the end, it's like the pressure that you put on that causes you to win. Okay, I don't want this to turn into a top 10 list, so I'm gonna try to make this the last one, but there's so many things. Okay, the last thing is to be unpredictable. Never get settled into a groove. Always be looking for that awkward shot that your opponent won't see coming. And so like, honestly, sometimes when the ball just goes up in the air, just go hit it. Like challenge, play fast, and just go for it. So when I played against players who were better than me and they ended up just demolishing me, it was because they were reading my play style. And they knew what I was defaulting to, and they would just hit the ball around me or hit it over my head. So for example, if I never challenged on the wall, if I always fake challenged on the wall, and I just kept, going back, they would just go hit the ball over my head. And I actually started doing this sometimes, which felt pretty good. Also, don't be afraid to go for like air dribbles and double touches and just aerials in general. The rule kind of used to be that you never really wanted to leave the ground in ones, but from the last few days of playing against some really great ones players, sometimes you just have to go for those shots. All right, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Just a reminder, make sure to check out the app that I mentioned earlier, GAMERLINK, that is the sponsor for this video. GAMERLINK, again, is a free app for gamers looking to connect with other gamers. Definitely try it out if you haven't yet. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.